In the crowded streets of Beijing, a man walked like any other. He blended into the sea of faces, carrying a briefcase, dressed in a simple suit, calm and unremarkable. To most, he was invisible, but to the eyes watching from the shadows, he was the most dangerous man in China, because this man was not a businessman, not a diplomat, not a tourist. He was an American spy, and on this night, his cover was about to shatter. What followed would become one of the most chilling tales of modern espionage, a story of betrayal, paranoia, and the high price of secrets. This is the story of the American spy caught in China. For decades, the United States and China have played a silent chess game. Unlike the Cold War with the Soviet Union, this new conflict wasn't fought only with missiles and armies. It was fought with trade, technology, and intelligence. The CIA needed eyes inside China. They needed to know what Beijing was planning, what secrets were being hidden behind closed doors in Zhongnanhai, and what technology was being developed in guarded research labs. But penetrating China was like walking into a labyrinth of mirrors. The Chinese Intelligence Service, the Ministry of State Security, or MSS, was one of the most ruthless spy-hunting agencies in the world. They were patient, disciplined, and utterly relentless, and yet the CIA tried. The spy's real name remains classified. In Beijing, he was known by an alias. He posed as a cultural attaché, an American official responsible for art exchanges and student visas. His cover was flawless. He attended embassy parties, shook hands with scholars, and spoke fluent Mandarin. But beneath that mask, he was running a dangerous network. His mission: recruit Chinese officials with access to state secrets, scientists, military officers, government clerks, anyone who could slip a document, whisper a plan, or steal a file. At night, he typed encrypted messages. By day, he arranged casual meetings at cafes, libraries, and parks. Every glance, every handshake, every smile was part of the game. And for years, it worked. Through his network, the spy obtained classified material that stunned Washington. Reports on China's cyber warfare programs, blueprints for next-generation fighter jets, draft speeches from party leaders before they were delivered. One informant smuggled out information about missile tests in Western China. Another revealed the hidden financial networks funding military projects. Each scrap of paper, each whispered conversation was a priceless puzzle piece. The CIA built entire strategies on the information coming from this network, but the more valuable the secrets, the more dangerous the game became. It began with a shadow. The spy noticed the same face twice in two different neighborhoods. A man reading a newspaper on Monday, walking behind him on Thursday. Another time, a car parked outside his apartment idled just a little too long. Then came the silence. One of his informants missed a meeting. Another sent no signal for weeks. Slowly, the web began to unravel. He felt the paranoia set in. Was the MSS onto him? Or was it just nerves? Every day, he left home prepared to never return. But still, he kept working. The Ministry of State Security had been patient. For months, they tracked his movements. They traced his communications. They flipped informants one by one, feeding him false confidence. Finally, they set the trap. One evening, the spy arranged to meet a source at a small tea house on the edge of Beijing. The night was humid, the city alive with neon lights and chatter. He sat at a corner table, briefcase at his feet, eyes scanning the door. But the informant never came. Instead, the room went silent. Men in plain clothes entered, their eyes sharp, their movements deliberate. The spy's hand twitched toward his briefcase, but it was too late. Within seconds, he was surrounded. A hand gripped his shoulder. A whisper in Mandarin sealed his fate. It's over. The arrest sent shockwaves through Beijing. Within days, dozens of his contacts were rounded up. Some disappeared into black cells, never to be seen again. Others were paraded on state television as traitors to the motherland. The CIA watched in horror as years of painstaking work crumbled overnight. The network, once a crown jewel of American intelligence, had been gutted, Rumors spread that the betrayal came not from China, but from within the CIA itself, a mole who exposed operations for money. The name Aldrich Ames had haunted Langley for years. Now whispers of another betrayal filled the halls. The cost was devastating. Lives were lost, families destroyed, and the United States had been dealt one of the worst intelligence failures in its history. For the spy, the nightmare had only begun. The MSS prided itself on extracting information without mercy. He was kept in a cold, windowless cell under constant surveillance. Lights never turned off. Guards rotated every few hours to deny him any sense of time. Day after day, the interrogations continued. Calm voices asking the same questions. Documents placed before him demanding confirmation. Threats mixed with offers of leniency if he cooperated. Some say he held firm, refusing to betray his country. Others whisper that under the crushing pressure, he confessed more than Washington will ever admit. What is certain is this: he never saw freedom again. When word of the arrest reached the White House, panic followed. Intelligence briefings grew grim. The CIA scrambled to protect other assets in Asia. Diplomatic channels went into overdrive, but China refused to negotiate. Publicly, officials said nothing. Privately, they raged. The spy's capture was more than a setback. It was a humiliation. America had been caught red-handed, its hand deep in the dragon's lair. Inside Langley, heads rolled. Operations were restructured. Trust shattered. For years afterward, the agency struggled to rebuild what had been lost. The story of the American spy in China became a warning whispered in intelligence circles. China was not the Soviet Union. It was smarter, faster, more adaptive. Its surveillance networks were suffocating, its counterintelligence ruthless. Cameras on every street, informants in every neighborhood, a society where every move was watched, every conversation overheard. For the CIA, it was a reminder. The age of glamorous espionage was over. The new battlefield was unforgiving, and the price of failure was death. To this day, the spy's fate is shrouded in mystery. Some say he was executed quietly, buried in an unmarked grave. Others claim he is still alive, rotting in a hidden prison, a bargaining chip in the endless game between nations. China remains silent. The CIA, too, offers no answers. Officially, the story does not exist. But in the world of espionage, silence often speaks louder than words. The tale of the American spy caught in China is not just about one man. It is about the invisible war being fought every day, in embassies, in boardrooms, in crowded city streets. A war where victory is invisible and defeat means vanishing forever. And now the question is yours. How many spies are still out there walking among us, their fates one mistake away from disaster? If this story gripped you, smash that like button. It tells me you want more deep dives into the dark world of espionage. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and join me as we uncover the secrets hidden behind the headlines. And in the comments, tell me, do you think human spies still matter in an age of satellites and AI? Or is old-school espionage already dead? Because in the world of intelligence, one truth never changes. Walls may stand tall, but shadows always find their way inside.